Sci-Spi.tv proudly presents Inner Transformations with Shai Tubali. I'm so delighted to be here today with author, speaker, and innovator in the field of inner transformation and personal development, Shai Tubali. Welcome, Shai.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, we so appreciate your precious time. And you have authored 4 books, The Indestructible You, A Guide to Bliss. You also have The Journey to Inner Power and The 7 Wisdoms of Life. And you have toured internationally talking about your books and your unique philosophy, which I really look forward to diving into.
Yes.
And it seems to be centered really on living this life, not attached to all the material, physical, aspects of our life, but not to be distanced from it either, in a place of, just this ethereal bliss of disconnection almost from the physical material realm. So, really experiencing life in a way that you can appreciate both, embrace both fully, and have that depth of human experience.
Exactly. You're saying it better than I could say it.
I doubt that, but thank you.
Yeah, I could share with you my background because when I started my journey of my spiritual journey, I was keenly interested in and devoted to spiritual enlightenment, and which is traditionally a complete self-transcendence and complete unity beyond all the duality of the world, and I gave my whole being to that, and was initiated into a certain yogic tradition, and went through a very complex series of what can be called spiritual awakenings and transformations. And at the beginning of my journey as a teacher, as quite I think a young teacher, because I started already at the age of 24, and it's been now already 18 years ever since. I used to emphasize the transcendence and leaving the world behind, and what is traditionally called the ultimate spiritual liberation from the world, liberation from the self. But then the more I observed what was taking place in people, I was quite disappointed, and I also had to acknowledge that what I saw as the spiritual scene and spiritual teachers, that wasn't satisfying for me at all, because somehow to me this spiritual power of our limitless nature was meant for something else. It wasn't meant just to become its own reference point, like a state in itself, to be worshipped and to be cultivated, but it was meant to become a platform, a foundation for a new and authentic human life. You see, for me, enlightenment was meant, its grand purpose was to illuminate the human experience and to put meaning into it. And then that got me started on
yes, I get this. vision, Shai, this sort of analogy of like, this earth plane as being a school, so you enroll in this school coming here voluntarily, and then you sit on the rooftop and you never go inside for the lessons. Right?
Yes,
if you just
exactly.
sit on that higher plane and embrace that bliss, and it's like, you came here, so you might as well go inside the schoolhouse and learn the lessons.
Exactly. I will give you. I could give an example that in the spiritual enlightenment scene, the whole talk is traditionally all about leaving the world behind in order to never come back. You see, to never reincarnate.
Yeah.
And to put an end to the cycle of reincarnation, of birth and death. And for me, real liberation is when I'm ready to say that I'm willing to reincarnate for eternity. You see, that I'm so free and so full of love of life and so much released from the need to look elsewhere and to consider home as somewhere external, that I'm literally willing to stay here forever. And so, and in that I find my liberation. And when I tell that people, it often triggers that hidden point in them, that they actually find spirituality as a sort of an escape, because they feel that life is unbearable and they dislike life, and they want to become enlightened because they just don't want to live anymore. And that, I think, is a deep psychological problem.
Yes, it feels to me like if you can come to a place of inner peace where home is wherever you're at.
Exactly.
Be it here
exactly.
or in a higher spiritual plane, that to me sounds like ultimate peace.
Exactly. Yes. Home is literally where your heart is. Yes.
Right? And I like how in your presentations, and you call it being in satsang, so I kind of feel like that's where we're at right now. Here we are in satsang and tuned into source, whatever you may call it, but at the same time, you and I and our audience, we're here and now. And thank you for offering us the opportunity to truly embrace the here and now without always seeking something else.
Yes. This is, by the way, when I introduce, and my latest book is called Unlocking the 7 Secret Powers of the Heart. It was just released, I think 1 week ago, and that is why I felt that I had to introduce another element to the teaching. You see, because there were, on the one hand, there were what we can call the upper chakras, the chakras that have nothing to do with life, the 7th and the 6th that can really go off, that can really turn off any communication and enter the spiritual realm. And on the other hand, there was the lower realm of humanity and the physical form, which seems to be neglected. And then I had to introduce one major factor, which is the heart. And the heart is very meaningful to me in terms of humanness, because even in terms of chakras, it divides precisely the 3 lower chakras and the 3 upper chakras, which means that it is the perfect middle point where we can find both our deepest humanness and our deepest divinity. So So for me, the heart is always the connecting point between the spirit and the world, between our divinity and our humanity. It always makes us come back. It always makes us find meaning and purpose in life as it is.
Yes, I often say we are both human and divine. So I really can appreciate what you're saying about the heart space, embracing, like the humanness, reaching out and loving unconditionally our humanness and our human sisters and brothers on the planet, while at the same time, having that really expansive love for all that is, that expansive love for the celestial and the divine at the same time. And this is a unique message, Shai. I just am, so delighted that you're bringing this out into the world and in this way, and with the heart being the connecting point. That's just so powerful. It allows us to love here and now, and at the same time still love, all that is in the higher realms. Really beautiful.
Yes, right. Love makes sense of everything. I would say, Civic, because we always question, perhaps I'm going too far right now philosophically and spiritually, forgive me if I do, but we always ask this question when we wonder philosophically, what made something come out of nothing? You see, because there was absolutely nothing, at least essentially speaking, before what we can consider the Big Bang, and there was only undivided wholeness or consciousness. Mm-hmm. And then what would make life come out of this nothing? And then, of course, we could never find a rational, logical, intellectual reason. We have no mind capacity for it. We cannot really grasp that divine mind, but we can feel it. And that's very different. And the only part in our being that knows the reason is our heart. And that reason is what we call almost as a code, love. And that's why we always respond to this word so strongly.
Yes, the most powerful force in the universe. And when I explore the meaning, purpose of this existence from this pure bliss state of infinite consciousness, to me, it feels like, and here I'm saying, it feels like, two things, but primarily to experience love, and to know thyself, through this experience, right? Kind of moving out of this existential state into this experiential realm, to experience love and to know thyself. But, it's so important to move out of the sort of intellectual understanding of that, like you're saying, and really move into more the feeling that, knowing that in the inner core of your being.
Yes. And the good thing is that we have the heart as the layer of our direct knowing, because with the heart we always seem to be able to remember things that our mind always tends to forget. And so
or overcomplicates.
Exactly. Because you see, sometimes people lose their deep state of consciousness, and it's natural to be in a human form, and from time to time to be in an ordinary state of consciousness. We're not meant to be always in unbelievable states. And then people ask me, but then I've lost it. What will I do? I can't contact it. But the thing is that our heart still knows. Our heart still remembers. And that's, for the heart, it's still alive as a knowing. It may not be on the level of a direct experience right now, but it remembers. And when we contact that, we realize that there is something that we could never lose.
Yes. That's incredibly beautiful. And I think we have come here to experience love and to transmute the lower energies that don't resonate with that love frequency. Don't you think, coming here to this earth plane, we find suffering and discontent and the lower frequencies of hatred, blame, guilt, shame, but we come here to love that, to overcome that, to find a way to love all of our brothers and sisters, irregardless of what they may have done or are doing, and challenge ourselves to love all of it unconditionally, no matter what. And that feels to me like that's mastery of the earth experience, is the ability to love all that is. Does that make sense, Shai?
Definitely. I believe that it's where these are our moments of truth. When we choose to do that, and whenever we choose to do that, we transform. And I believe that almost that in a way that the universe changes when we choose that. I come from also from the world of cinema, and I'm both a deep lover of cinema, and also just a few months ago I completed a short film, a science fiction film that is now presented in festivals, also in the US, by the way. And for me, cinema tells us a lot about this meaning that you're talking about, because we know that the greatest movies, they always lead to one moment of choice for the hero or the heroine. There is always a moment which is the moment of truth, that when that hero chooses to act in a certain way to transcend some lower impulse to self-sacrifice or to choose love or to choose forgiveness, this is where we call the movie touching. This is when our heart breaks, when we see the choice of the hero. And because intuitively we recognize that these moments are why we are here. These are the moments that are worth living for. And I believe that in those moments of truth, the heavens look at us, you see? That the whole universe looks at us with anticipation. What will he do?
Can I interrupt just for 1 second? Can you please move your computer down a tad, because I can't see your chin?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's continue. Sorry to interrupt the stream, but we want to see what you said. Okay.
Of course. Yeah, so I'm saying that these are the moments when the heavens look at us, look down, and with anticipation, what will they do? Will they choose? And because in those moments we manage to connect heaven and earth through our choice.
In those moments we manage to connect heaven and earth with our choice. Beautiful.
Yes,
yeah, I've often felt so much to do with choice, and the free will choices that we make in every moment of every day, and living in that higher state of awareness about those choices, and having the ability to witness the choice that you're making and sort of redirecting it into the higher, heart, love, compassion, understanding, patience, kindness, and making sure that it aligns with all of that, so that when we're inclined to make that choice that is more self-serving, maybe, connected to our sense desires rather than the highest good for all, that we have the ability to stop, witness the choice we're making, and consciously make that higher choice that aligns with that, unity consciousness of love and compassion and kindness. So thank you for that. I think that's just feels so important on our journey, to make the choices that, because, everything changes in that moment. If you choose the lower frequency choice, I think these idea of these parallel universes, and now where are you going to go next? And if you make that choice, your life proceeds down this path. And if you make this choice, well, then your life proceeds down the other path. And
yes. And then these are the moments in which also we manage to integrate our spirituality into our actual life. You see, because we can be in a wonderful meditative state, but as long as we do not choose correctly, what happens is that our spiritual knowing remains in the hidden realms. You see, and when we choose it, this becomes a manifest reality, and then we manage to finally pour our internal spirituality into our life, and it becomes visible. And that's when we begin to become true spiritual human beings.
Yes.
Which is basically my main interest, yes.
And if we just escape from this human experience and from really the relationships that are possible with our brothers and sisters who are sharing this earth experience, then we miss the opportunity, I believe, to make a powerful and positive difference in their lives. We miss the opportunity to positively influence the collective. It feels to me like we're almost become more interested in our own individual ascension, if you will, rather than becoming part of the collective ascension or wholeness. You don't have the unity consciousness really then in that.
Exactly. Anyway, our consciousness is the consciousness of the whole, and that's our true nature. If when we differentiate, we delude ourselves.
Yeah.
So and here, if I may, we do need to enter some word that people sometimes in spirituality don't like so much, because it sounds a bit too more moralistic. And still, I think it is a very profound term, and that is responsibility.
Yes, I was thinking that. We have a responsibility to the whole. We can't just look away. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because when we begin to consider our being, our humanity in a larger context, our choices become much more meaningful. And actually, by the way, I believe that also in terms of individual ascension, it is much more empowering than choosing for our own sake and becoming spiritual for our own sake.
Yes. It was so interesting that you should come up with that word, because as you were talking about that, I was thinking, we have a responsibility to reach back or reach out to all of our brothers and sisters and inspire, enlighten, empower. And I feel like that's also what, celestial guides, higher guidance from higher realms and dimensions are also doing as part of their individual and collective spiritual ascension, evolution, is they reach back or they reach
Exactly.
into the lower dimensions to offer
Exactly.
that connection and that spiritual guidance, because that's what we do. It's part of our evolution.
That's wonderful what you say. Jesus said, "I'm the light of the world," and when he said that, he didn't mean that he specifically was the only light of the of the world. He meant that the I am, the experience of each and every one of us, of our own I amness, is the light of the world. And he said, if this light doesn't shine, the whole world becomes dark. So when we experience that, we begin to experience ourselves as a source of illumination, and that without us there is no illumination. That is, I believe, is the beginning of authentic responsibility. It's responsibility, not the moral type of that also involves guilt and shame and all that.
And that brings to mind empathy too, Shai, because when we say, for instance, I am that I am, it's like I am all it is. So I am you, and I am every other human being on this collective, realm of consciousness. And so being an integral part of that is the recognition that I am you and every other person on this earth plane. And so if I'm concerned about my own personal ascension, evolution, then I'm concerned about yours too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, exactly.
That's very profound, and that's a profound note to wrap up this first discussion with, and something that our viewing audience can really take away. And on that note, Shai, what would you leave our audience with today?
I would live with this ultimate mantra of Jesus. I'm the light of the world. I would really recommend the viewers to try to wake up tomorrow morning with this statement in their mind and heart. What does it mean to wake up in the light as the light of the world? What does it mean that you perceive the sun in shining over the world and in bringing that light? So that I think could be such a tremendous shift of relationship with everything. Instead of waiting to be illuminated, instead of waiting to receive something. And I know that many people immediately think, oh, come on, I can't be the light of the world, I'm too small. But that is exactly it. When we start trusting that truth, it begins to take root in us. It's like a seed of our own divine consciousness. We are a genie in a bottle. You see, we are a limitless consciousness packed within a human form, and we are the light of the world.
Beautiful. And it kind of brings me to the chakras that you were talking about earlier too, because I see that solar plexus as really being our power center. And when our power center is connected into our heart center, and then of course, our ability to communicate that and share that with the world, then we feel empowered to speak our truth, to be our truth, to know the power we have, to spread the love and the light by being the love and the light. And there's no smallness in that. It's only from there.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so very much, Shai. I really value you taking the time to really spread your love and your light and your power with the world. Bless you for learning the English language so that you can spread it far and wide.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was one dialogue. Thank you.